Hi, I'm Nate Eppler, Director of the Ingram New Works Project at Nashville Repertory Theatre, and I'd like to welcome you to the very first Theater Bug and Nashville Rep Young Writers Festival. This year, we challenged Middle Tennessee students to write brand new short plays. The only rule was they had to be less than 10 pages long. They could write about anything they wanted, and we received a spectacular assortment of new plays. We selected 6 of those plays, provided developmental support and professional mentorship to those young playwrights, and are delighted to present 3 of them to you tonight as staged readings. A staged reading is a fully rehearsed reading of the play. The actors are reading their lines from the script, and the stage directions are read aloud, describing the setting and the action of the play. I wish that we were all sitting in an audience somewhere watching these extraordinary plays and celebrating these young artists together, but I'm glad we're able to present them to you virtually instead. If you're interested in supporting this program and other programs that amplify young artists in Nashville, we hope that you'll visit thetheaterbug.org or nashvillerep.org to explore all the ways you can help. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, and enjoy the show.
Birthday Wishes for Emilia, written by Tigris, Parada. Opening. Lila's voice is heard, but the stage is still dark.
When I feel the most out of control, I picture that Emilia is still here. I think about how she used to hold me tight until my head cleared. She always knew how to guide me through the chaos. Imagining her here isn't the same as actually having her close, but you'd be surprised what the imagination is capable of when it's most desperate for love that's been lost. I don't try to come up with what she would have said or any gesture she would have made. I couldn't dream of replacing her thoughts with mine. I can still feel what it was like to be someone she cared about. And most of the time when I get like this, that's enough. Emilia and I got each other through the shit. I guess there was just something I couldn't get her through.
End scene. Opening. Lila's packing her bag for school when her dad knocks, then walks into her room with a mug of coffee. Seems like there's something on his mind he wants to say.
Morning.
Hey, what's up?
Lila's packing her bag. Her dad seems a bit distracted by whatever he's thinking about.
I just wanted to spend a minute with you before you head out. Are you coming right back at home after school?
Yep.
Cool.
How's your lady friend?
What?
The woman you've been going out with, who apparently I'm not allowed to know about, all sounds pretty sketch to me.
How did you find out about Gia?
I have my ways. Grandma called and asked about how you and Gia were getting along.
Of course she did. I just didn't want you to get attached or something. I don't want to bring in someone new until I'm sure it's serious. It's only been a couple of months and
A couple months? Rude. And by the way, it's your house and you're the parent and you don't have to sneak around.
I'm sorry. I should have told you. I should have been the one to tell you.
You should have. But you are forgiven. Anyways, tell me about this Gia, ooh la la.
Lila, I'm not dealing with this right now.
If by this you mean me, then when were you planning on dealing with this?
What am I ever supposed to do with you? I don't want you to be alone tomorrow. I know it's going to be a hard day, and I don't think you should spend it alone.
Dad, I'm fine. I don't have anyone to spend the day with anyways.
Then take this as an opportunity to find someone. You don't have to keep punishing yourself by not having any friends. And I'm sure a lot of people are going to be understanding tomorrow.
I'm not punishing myself. It's just no one's her, I guess.
Yeah, I know.
Dad kisses Lila on the forehead and leaves. End scene. Opening. Lila's walking the halls when Madison and Jenna pop up. They're not trying to be mean, but they do like flaunting that they knew Emilia.
Hey, I was looking for you.
Oh, hey.
How are you doing? This must all be so hard.
I mean, it's not the best day I've ever had.
You are so funny. I remember that about you from Emilia's 13th birthday party.
Thanks.
Also, so pretty. Like, so exotic. You're Chinese, right? Jenna. She's Mexican.
Those were some fun guesses, but actually I identify as a unicorn.
Thought we'd just give you our condolences. You've been a bit down recently, so we just wanted to check in. And remind you, Emilia always had a smile on her face. She'd want you to have one too. I mean, it's her birthday tomorrow. We gotta go. We're helping set up for Emilia's B-Day/remembrance thing. You should totally come. Oh yeah, have all of her old besties there. Bye, Elle. Good vibes only.
End scene. Opening. Lila's walking home from school with her earbuds in when Joaquin joins her.
Hey, Lila, wait up.
Kino, to what do I owe the pleasure?
I just got off the phone with my mom, and she asked if I was still friends with you, to which I replied, of course not. She's absolutely repulsive. Obviously, she agreed, but wanted me to talk to you anyway. Apparently, she was catching up with your mom the other day and realized we both needed some help finessing our college applications. We've been putting it off.
I'm appalled to have been put on the same level of laziness as you. I was feeling pretty good about myself until now.
That's what I'm here for. You know, I mean, I know if you ask white suburban wine moms, they'd probably tell you have an unfair advantage because of the diversity quota these schools have to meet.
Yes, I forget. White people fixed racism by tokenizing a few of us into their prestigious universities.
I guess it's hard for them, you know, to imagine that my appeal has anything to do with the fact that I can fluently communicate in 3 languages.
You got me beat there, unless I get to count bullshit and sarcasm.
Way to be a basic bitch.
Hey, I can be as basic as I want and still confuse the shit out of people when they try to figure out what I am. My ancestors got around. That's all I'll say.
You are the descendant of horny rebels. How have other things been in the life of Lila Villa? Dad still unable to multitask? Mom still able to cook? You still able to get a dog to like you?
Mom almost poisoned a neighbor with her taco salad. It is me who doesn't like dogs, and my dad is now able to have a conversation while doing the dishes. So, growth. Also, your brain remembers stupid things.
You see, I don't see them as stupid. I just got a pretty great smell out of you. So I'm feeling fairly good about my memory at the moment. Thank you very much.
I forgot how freaking annoying you are. Always gotta have a comeback.
You know, it's only annoying to you because you do the same thing.
Touche.
I actually wanted to talk to you about something. Tomorrow is, well, you know what tomorrow is. I didn't know if it'd be insensitive to bring it up, but I kick myself later for not checking in. I'm just trying to find the nicest way of asking if you're doing okay.
Your poor brain has been overthinking this. I'm fine.
The lying. Always with the lying. No lying. How are you doing with everything?
Getting through.
You're definitely getting closer to a truthful answer.
I've been trying not to think about it too much. She wouldn't have wanted me to dread her birthday. She would have wanted me to celebrate it. I'm not quite there yet, so ignoring it is the best I can do.
I think we both know you're not going to ignore it. Birthdays were always your specialty.
I got a bundt cake, a lemon raspberry bundt cake. Her favorite. Very far from the best flavor, but who am I to judge the deceased?
You've always been pretty good at pretending. I hate it.
What?
Eno stops walking and looks Lila in the eyes.
Like the way you said you were fine a minute ago. Anyone who had known you forever would have genuinely believed that. Or how fast you came back to school after she died. Everyone was waiting to see you break down at lunch without her sitting there or hear you sobbing in a bathroom, but it never happened. You came back to school like always, like nothing changed. It felt like I was the only one who could tell you were different. I didn't know what to say at the time, but I don't want to make that mistake again. I'd only known her for 3 years and only been close to her for 1. And I think about her every day. I wanted to, and still do, be here for you. But you're kind of a hard person to be there for. Shit, that came out wrong.
Lila starts walking again.
Emilia used to say the same thing. It wasn't actually hard for her, though. She saw right through my BS. She told me once that it could technically be considered selfish how much I keep in my brain. Of course, she said that in a half-joking, half-sincere tone she'd mastered. She thought you were special, by the way. She said you were one of the most genuinely nice people she had ever met. Which, of course, I don't see, but coming from her, you should feel completely honored.
Yeah, I did. I mean, I do. Is it hard to hear people talk about her? Like how she was an exemplary student who never misbehaved and always had a smile on her face and everyone loved her. And you felt so full of happiness with every encounter that you just assumed that you'd become best friends.
I've just been tuning it out. It's weird that nobody really knew her. If they did, those aren't the things they'd be remembering. Instead, they'd be talking about how she secretly wrote poems to make herself feel better. They'd talk about how trash her music taste was and that she was the best hugger. They'd talk about how she was lactose intolerant, but would still consume ice cream, stupidly. And about how she ate Kit Kats wrong, and how reckless her train of thought got past 10 p.m.
My God, someone needed to teach her how to eat Kit Kats, right?
Don't you think I tried? She was gonna help me figure out college stuff. We were planning on applying to the same schools. She always said, where you are never matters. It's who you're with that makes everything worthwhile. She was supposed to become like an environmental engineer or something that would have made us both look completely insignificant.
She had the tendency of doing that.
I didn't mind it.
Hey, I want you to call me tomorrow. I'm never going to be as good as being there for you as Emilia, but I want to try. So let me into that head of yours sometime. I care about you, dude.
He gives her a quick hug.
Thanks for the walk.
End of scene. Opening. Lila wakes up in the morning to check her phone. Instagram is filled with posts about Emilia. Everyone's pretending to know and care about her. Lila quickly puts her phone down after realizing that was about to be her entire feed. Her phone starts ringing.
Hello?
I'm really sorry.
What?
Did you see it?
What? The posts?
Post.
You're gonna have to give me more information. It's too early for this.
I prefer not to be on Messenger on this.
On what?
Check your DMs. I'll send it to you.
On the other side of the stage, Madison is calling Jenna. Lila pulls out her phone again.
Did you see the post?
See what?
Emilia's mom's post.
Not yet. What did it say?
Lila is reacting throughout the scene as though she's reading it at the same time.
Hold on, I'll read it. Found it. Hard to believe my angel would have been 18 today. Thank you for all your warm thoughts and prayers. What I wouldn't give to have her here with us. Breaks my heart she got caught up with the wrong crowd. My baby was too polite to not be influenced by the negativity of this world. We're all being told to ignore differences right now, but values matter. I'll never forgive myself for letting her hang out with those kinds of people. I think every day about how I wish I had made a different choice. Please know Emilia is looking down on all of her loved ones. Again, I appreciate the birthday wishes for Emilia.
Wow.
Back into scene with Kino and Lila.
I'm sorry, Lila.
Lila's a little numb from the post.
She was referring to me. How? How can she still be putting this on me? Because I'm the one who found Emilia?
She's just trying to put the blame somewhere, and it's too heavy to hold by herself. You're the easiest way to relieve the guilt she must be feeling.
I never touched drugs. I haven't even gotten drunk.
She's not worried about honesty. Her picture-perfect kid died. Anyway, you didn't deserve the way she came at you. What are you thinking about, Lils?
I don't really know.
Your mom commented on the post. A lot of unholy words sugar-coated in sympathy. But I think she got her point across.
I'm gonna go.
Lils, I'm sorry, but just don't shut me.
She hangs up before he can finish. She stares at the ceiling a moment, then starts to cry. She pulls out her phone and reads aloud as she starts to type.
When I feel most out of control, I picture that Emilia is still here. I think about how she used to hold me tight until my head cleared. She always knew how to guide me through the chaos. Imagining her here isn't the same as actually having her close, but you'd be surprised at what the imagination can do when it's most desperate for love that's been lost. I don't try to come up with what she would have said or any gesture she would have made. I couldn't dream of replacing her thoughts with mine. I can still feel what it was like to be someone she cared about. And most of the time, that's enough. Me and Emilia got each other through the shit. I guess there was just something I couldn't get her through.
She pauses and has a memory. Emilia is studying at her desk while Lila's on the bed.
How are you still working? I'm exhausted.
Goals. You have to think goals.
Please elaborate.
Okay. So instead of thinking I'm doing boring school that I hate and learning math that will never be relevant to normal human activity and nothing I ever do will meet the standards of my parents, think I'm doing this hella frustrating task right now so that I can get to where I need to be in the future. The journey can suck a lot, but remember what you're fighting for. Life is worth experiencing, and you can't let the stupid crap get in the way of the happy crap.
Ever the optimist.
I like to think so.
Lila comes back into the moment, but now she's simply talking to herself.
I couldn't have saved Emilia, and that's okay. She wouldn't have wanted me to blame myself. She was beautiful, lost, and broken. All I can do now is hope that wherever Emilia is, she's found the peace she never had here. My heart will always belong to Emilia, but that doesn't mean I can't grow to make room for someone new.
She hits send on the message. End of scene. Opening. Kino and Lila are sitting on her bed.
I'm glad you texted me.
Me too.
Hey, I actually got you something.
He pulls out a strawberry bundt cake.
What?
I stalked your Instagram, thought I'd figure out which flavor you think is best. Personally, I think you and Emilia were both incredibly wrong.
Thanks, bro. It really means a lot.
Don't worry about it. Oh, and I thought while I was here, I'd help your lazy butt get some college stuff done.
He pulls out his laptop.
Tell me about yourself.
End play. Sinister Love by Meronica Forrester-Kent. All lights out.
Blood was running. Something sinister had come to our town of Bridal.
Spotlight on Harriet Parks as she addresses the audience.
My name is Harriet Parks, but most call me Harry. And on a chilling winter afternoon was when everything went wrong. My town of Bridal had experienced an occasional robbery, but nothing as sinister as this.
Lights up on stage left. Jaden Harper and Carly Gems are seen sitting on a park bench cuddling with each other.
I love you so much, Jay.
They kiss.
I love you too, Lamb.
Lights go out on stage left and spotlights Harriet again.
Jaden Harper and Carly Gems were as opposite as you could get. Carly was the quiet, nerdy writer, while Jaden was an all-star goalie. Even though they were two completely different people, they managed to be the cutest couple in Bridal. On that cold winter morning was when my dad, Detective Parks, got a chilling call from Carly Gems about a body.
Lights up on stage left to see Carly Gems crying over Jaden Harper's dead body.
No, 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 no.
Lights go out on stage left and spotlights Harriet again.
Jaden was pronounced dead before lunch. He had been shot with what we were guessing was a rifle. This struck fear among our town. Was this a one-time incident? And who would be so sinister to do such a thing?
Lights are up to show a dining room table with papers laid out. Sitting at the head of the table is Detective Parks. Harriet walks over.
Any more leads, Dad?
No, my little detective. We've talked to everyone who could have had a grudge against him. We even talked to his girlfriend, but nothing adds up. And to top it off, the town is going crazy. People are thinking the worst.
Don't worry, Dad. You'll find out who did it. You always do. And don't worry about the townspeople. They're not like us. They like to take action while we like to use our brains. Once the case is closed, everything will calm down.
The doorbell rings. Harriet goes to open the door at stage right. Standing there is Tammy Hunter.
Hey, Harry.
Harriet addresses the audience.
Tammy Hunter is my friendly neighbor. I wouldn't say we're best friends because I mostly keep to myself, but we hang out sometimes. Tammy's best friend was Jaden. They knew each other since they were in preschool, and his death had taken a toll on her.
Harriet goes back to address Tammy.
Hey, Tam, please come inside.
Tammy walks inside.
Hi, Mr. P. How's the case going?
Well, to be honest, not great. We've interrogated everyone who knew him and found the murder weapon. We sent it to get it analyzed for any fingerprints.
Don't worry, Mr. P. I'm sure you'll figure it out soon.
Thanks, Tam. How are you holding up?
I'm not. Jaden was my best friend, and a part of me feels like it died with him that night.
Don't worry. I promise my dad and I will find out who murdered him and will bring him to justice.
Thanks, Harry. Well, I better get going. I promised my mom that I wouldn't stay out too late. Bye, Harry, and thank you again.
Tammy leaves and Harriet addresses the audience.
My mind was a twister of thoughts. I came up with theory after theory on why someone would want to kill the all-star goalie. I guess this is one of the many reasons my parents named me Harriet. You see, I was named after Harriet the Spy. It's a book that was published in 1964 and then was turned into a movie in 1996. My dad would always call me his little detective. Ever since I was born, I was a curious child, always questioning everything and anything. Even though my dad told me to stay out of this, I couldn't. Both my dad and I knew we didn't have the whole story. So next on my list was to talk to people who knew Jaden. Now, I know what you're thinking. Your dad already did that. But the thing is, children tend to be more truthful towards peers than adults. You see where I'm going with this?
Harriet walks from stage right to the park bench at center stage where a tearful Carly Jims sits. Harriet sits next to Carly Jims.
Hey, how are you holding up?
I'm not, Harry. Jaden was the only one I could act like myself around. I can't even do anything about it now, and it angers me. I try so hard to look like I'm okay and to keep myself controlled, but I can't. Everyone keeps coming up to me saying, I'm sorry for your loss, but I feel like they don't even care. I just want it all to stop.
Carly Jims breaks down again while Harriet puts an arm around her.
I know how you feel. When I was 11, my mom died from cancer. At the time, I didn't know what was going on. I just thought she had a cold or whatever. She would always say, everything's going to be all right, my little detective. We're both survivors and we'll get through this together. I wanted so bad for her to be right, but something in my stomach told me she was wrong. She fought her last battle 5 years ago. I spent hours in my room screaming and crying about how unfair it was, that she was supposed to be a warrior and fight it off. But I learned I couldn't do anything about it. Jaden's death is not your fault.
That's where you're wrong. It is my fault. The night before he died, I went over to his house. I was about to ring his doorbell when I heard arguing. Jaden and Cameron, his brother, were arguing.
Lights dim a bit on Carly and Harriet and brightens at the stage right where Cameron Harper and Jaden Harper are arguing.
Why can't you just be happy for me?
How can I be happy for you when you stole the only girl I ever loved? You get everything. Everyone is so proud of you. You get scholarships and people who are begging to have you on their team. And when I tell people my last name, the only thing that they care about is that I live with the famous Jaden Harper.
Lights brighten on Carly and Harriet.
They were arguing about me. Cameron was a really good friend of mine before I started dating Jaden, and now that I think about it, he was always jealous of his brother. I believe that he came to his breaking point when I started dating his brother. I turned around then and left to go home. I didn't think my presence would help.
So, you think Cameron killed Jaden?
They said the murder weapon was a rifle. Well, Cameron's favorite thing is to go hunting.
That moment in time when I realized Cameron was the main suspect was an exciting and scary moment. One moment I'm thinking, I have a suspect like a real detective. But the thought of someone killing their sibling over jealousy was just sickening. Now, like a responsible teenager, I should have gone to my dad with the information, but I didn't. I was blinded by the fact that I could actually solve this murder. Next step, confronting Cameron.
Harriet goes to Cameron's house and knocks on his door. Cameron opens the door.
Hey, who are you?
Harriet addresses the audience.
Seriously? I've been in this guy's class for 3 years straight.
Harriet goes back to addressing Cameron.
I'm Harriet Parks, and if you wouldn't mind, I'd like to ask you a couple of questions.
Ah, detective's daughter. Sure.
So, I heard that your favorite sport is hunting. Is that true?
Yes, it is. My brother may have been an all-star goalie, but I'm the, I guess you would call, protector of the family.
Were you ever jealous of your brother?
I mean, yeah, who wouldn't? He had the prettiest girl in school. He was the most popular guy in school. He even had colleges lining up at his door. Who wouldn't want all of that?
Do you have any history of violence?
No, why are you... You think I killed my brother? Look, I already talked to the police about this. After I got into a fight with my brother, he stormed out the door, and I stormed up to my room. I regretted everything when I woke up. I ran downstairs to tell him I was sorry, only to be met by a police officer telling us that my brother was dead. Believe me, I would do anything just to see my brother and tell him that I'm sorry.
Cameron pauses for a moment before leaving. Harriet addresses the audience.
The moment Cameron made his confession, I saw sincerity in his eyes. I knew that he couldn't have killed his brother. Even though this should have made me feel relieved, I wasn't. I now was without any suspect. The only place I could think of going was to the scene of the crime.
Harriet walks under crime scene tape.
It was the middle of winter and I was trekking through the woods. I searched for hours to find something concrete that would point to the killer, and with each minute, my self-esteem got lower and lower. Just before I left, that's when I found it. Physical evidence that led me straight to the killer.
Harriet holds up a bloody bracelet.
Tammy killed Jaden. Right then and there, it all made sense. Tammy and Jaden had been best friends since preschool, and Tammy must have developed feelings for him and then was devastated when he started dating Carly. I mean, how would you feel if you loved a guy since preschool and then he chose someone else? But then again, would Tammy really go to the extreme length just because she was jealous? At that moment, it didn't matter. I had to tell my dad.
Harriet runs into her house and straight towards Detective Parks.
Dad, Tammy killed Jaden. I saw it. Well, not the murder. I found her bracelet and it had blood on.
Whoa. Slow down and start from the beginning.
I went to the crime scene. I know you told me to stay out of this, but I couldn't. I was searching for a while, then I found something horrifying.
Harriet gives Detective Parks the bloody bracelet.
Oh my. Thank you for bringing this to me. I'll look into this immediately. But when I get back, we're going to have a talk about your secret mission.
Detective Parks gives Harriet a fleeting hug before leaving off of stage right.
I thought I would be happy about the fact that I solved a case, my first case, but I obviously didn't know Tammy as I thought I did. Why would she kill someone over jealousy?
Lights brighten at stage right to show Tammy handcuffed in a prison outfit.
Tammy confessed her guilt in court. and was charged with second-degree murder. She confessed and said,
I was angry at Jay for picking someone new instead of the girl who loved him since preschool. I didn't mean to kill him. We were just talking that night. We went rifling that night. It wasn't his favorite sport, but it was mine. And the whole time, all he could talk about was Miss Perfect. I snapped. I yelled at him for forgetting about me and how he didn't even care that I liked him. And that's when I did it.
Lights go down on stage left and spotlights Harriet again.
I learned a lot from this case. I learned everyone has a secret that they hide, and everyone has rage that they don't show until that moment when it becomes too much for them. Cameron's rage almost got him in serious trouble, and Tammy ended up paying for it. I learned that people aren't just good or bad, that everyone has a little bit of both in them. It's the way they choose to act that shows who they really are. Carly Jim's grieved that night, but still kept secrets. Cameron felt guilty that night, but still kept quiet. Tammy raged that night and killed Jaden. They all paid for their actions in one way or another. The quiet town of Bridal will forever know of this case as the murder of Sinister Love.
Lights go out. End of play. The Bat by Doc Havey. Lights come up to reveal a young man at his kitchen table on a Zoom call.
Hey, Jane, do you want to get together tonight for my birthday?
There's a pandemic. Are you crazy?
Man, quarantine sucks.
Yeah. But it's not like you can just reverse it so that it won't happen.
Yeah, but my grandpa did say...
We hear pots clanking as Richard's mother bangs the pots while washing dishes.
Never mind. Zoom with you tomorrow.
Dinner's almost ready.
Meatloaf again? I'll be glad when we can finally go back out to restaurants.
Richard hears his mother's Amazon Echo playing Cher's song, If I Could Turn Back Time.
If I could turn back time.
Richard gets an idea.
I gotta do something. Be right back.
Lights go down as we see Richard put on his mask and walk out the kitchen door as we transition, and lights come up on the Grampy pod in the backyard.
Hey, Grandpa, do you still have that old time machine you built?
Why do you ask?
I'm so sick of COVID and I really want to save humanity.
Well, that's really valiant of you. When did you get so mature?
I guess I really just want to see my girlfriend in that new Marvel movie.
Okay. The time machine's in the garage. The keys are right next to my pictures of the Illuminati. Now, don't tell anyone. And whatever you do, don't mess up the timeline. That's how I lost my time traveler's license.
Richard goes into his grandfather's garage. Lights come up as he enters. He uncovers the time machine that he only knows about.
It's Chinatown, baby.
Richard uses the key to program it to go to Wuhan, China, November 2019, and somehow it worked. As the time machine spins around and rises, smoke comes out of it as we hear noises very similar to the TARDIS from Doctor Who. Pew, 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 pew. this is happening, the stage rotates to a new setting when the time machine lands and opens to a busy Chinese marketplace.
Whoa. That was easier than I thought it would be. And it looks like I happened to be in the middle of the marketplace where the bat was that they said spread COVID.
Richard gets out of the time machine and finds a particularly interesting nocturnal mammal waiting to see him, who happens to be human-sized. The bat is a character who transcends space and time, but looks like a 45-year-old Robert De Niro in a bat suit.
You looking for me?
Yikes. How'd you know I was looking for you?
Let's just say I am all-knowing. I embody all that's wrong with humanity.
Look, dude, a deadly virus that's linked to you might overtake the world if you stay in this marketplace.
I know that. I'm all-knowing.
Oh, right.
But look, you got it all wrong. That virus didn't start here. Listen, I know a guy. Go to the Vatican in Rome.
The Vatican?
No, the Vatican. Ask for the nocturnal Pope. Tell him the bat sent you.
Well, I guess my day's gonna get longer. Bye, bat.
Richard goes back into the time machine and uses his grandpa's key to go to the Vatican. The time machine shines a lot of flashy light and makes a lot of noise as he travels to the Vatican, Italy. Vroom, 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 vroom. He then exits out of the time machine door and sees a huge church inside a gigantic bat cave. Then Richard quickly goes inside the shining doors of this magnificent temple and sees a very weird human bat hybrid who's very holy. He's wearing a 12-foot hat with a human cardinal hybrid standing next to him.
Are you the Bat Pope? You're bigger than I expected.
Yes, my son. What do you need help with?
The bat said you could help me stop the coronavirus.
You mean what my colleague Asiliops is unleashing on the world? Even though I'm Catholic, I'm going to send you to a Greek god. It's okay. Go to the Garden of the Germ in Athens, Greece, spring 2019. Ciao.
No thanks, I can't. I ate already. Bye.
The time machine shines a lot of flashy lights again as he travels to the Garden of the Germ. He exits out of the time machine to see a Cheekwood-esque garden. He sees a man standing on a gazebo performing chemistry. He looks like Albert Einstein in a toga.
Asiliops?
No! Dang it! I was working on my top secret evil scheme.
Hey, that's really not nice.
Well, what do you want?
I want to put an end to this awful disease that strikes in 2020.
Okay, I will. On one condition. Get your people to be nice to the environment and to each other.
Deal. Thanks.
Now off, mortal!
Say hi to your dad, Apollo. I hope his future stays bright.
Richard gets back into the time machine and has a hard trip back. He may or may not have made another stop or two. He has a rough landing, and he gets hit on the head and knocked out. He wakes up and rubs his head.
Man, did that really happen? Did I really end up meeting the world leaders about world peace and climate change? I must be losing it. That must have just been some weird dream.
He walks onto his yard and sees neighbors out on the street hanging out together without distance or proper facial protection.
COVID idiots.
Richard walks into his family's kitchen and sees his mother wearing fancy clothes.
Why are you wearing nice clothes that look like it's a fancy dinner? What?
Because it's your birthday, silly. We're going to your favorite restaurant, Little Joe's.
You're crazy, Mom.
Richard walks into his room and sees Jane.
You shouldn't be here. We're in the middle of a pandemic.
What are you talking about, doofus? We're going out for your big birthday dinner with your parents and grandparents?
You mean just my grandfather, right? My grandmother. Never mind.
Oh, and surprise, I got us tickets to see Black Widow on Saturday.
Wait a minute. That release got pushed to next year because of COVID.
What? Because of Kofefe? You know it's the big release you've been looking forward to this weekend. Come on, stupid. Let's go.
Jane walks out of the room and Richard stares at himself in the mirror.
Oh my God. It worked. Yes! Woo!
Lights out. End of play.